week, we discussed Mohammed Bago, the APC Gubernatorial Aspirant for Niger State. We had in the house a guest who discussed his lifestyle, what he was like as a child, and we also got a glimpse of his background, family background, which we actually learned he's from a royal family despite his humble adage or bearing. I'm Hadiza, Abdullahi, Kano, and you're watching the White Cap Crusade, which is a production of the Bago Media Centre. The main host of the program, Isyaku Baba, is here with me today. Ishaq, I'm taking over from you today.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
My name remains Ambassador Isyaku Baba, and then I'm joined by exciting guests today who are going to be discussing a lot that we need to know as young people on who Honorable Umaru Mohammed Bago is, especially Bago administration and what he has in stock for the young generation. By my distant right is a capacity chairman, the chairman of all chairmen, I call. Can you introduce yourself, Mr.?
Thank you very much. I think I'm a chairmanship aspirant, and the way you introduced me is quite all right. My name still remains Mohammed Saidu Etsu. I'm APC chieftain and a member of Nasuaji Presidential Campaign Council, and right now I'm a member of our Umaru campaign team.
Thank you for the brief introduction. Close to my right is a youth general. Mr. Can you introduce yourself?
Ambassador Abdullahi Mohammed Ishaq, the coordinator, National Youth Council of Nigeria, Chanchaga local chapter, as well as the president, Niger Issue Development Advocates. Thank you.
Thank you. According to statistics, the youths constitute about 70% of the total population of Nigeria. What this implies is, in every 100 Nigerians, there are 70 youths in their midst. And I think this justifies the fact that every government must carry the youths along in their activities and their policies as well, because the youths, they are the drivers of the economy, the security, and the well-being of the state. The good news is, Honorable Umaru Mohammed Bago is one of us. He is a man that have achieved a lot in his young age, especially at this phase of his life. And then today we are going to be talking about some of his achievements, and then also what he has in stock for the young generation.
And I think in addition to what you said, actually 75% of registered voters are actually youths and women. So that speaks a lot. It means basically youths are going to be deciding factors. Who is going to emerge as the president, the governors, and all other positions. I think that's a very good information that we all need to know.
Mr. Chairman, what do you think is the achievements of Umaru Mohammed Bago thus far?
Thank you very much. I think we need to take it from the background of who Umaru Mohammed Bago is, from his background as a banker, from banking, venture into politics, and in politics, he has done a lot of things that a lot of people cannot be able to do from 1999 to date, especially where he represents as a member of the House of Representatives. The history of where he represents now, which is the Chanchaga constituency, is the first person that will go there to break the genes of coming back for the second time and even the third time, and now he's clinching the ticket of the governorship of Niger State. And if you look at the background, it shows that he's a person that has built it from its own early stage of work before venturing into politics. He's someone that came from the opposition angle and challenged the status quo. And he has succeeded by doing that and even repeated it again.
Over and over again.
So you can't do that with the kind of society we find ourselves, especially the kind of metropolitan city where we have enlightened people, where we have people that are educated, where we have people that are policy makers of the state. And he has repeated that. He's done that because he knows what his onion is. He knows what he can be able to do to attract this number of people to himself. And that's why he has achieved this in the last 16 years of his administration in the House of Representatives?
During the course of his administration in the House of Representatives, Madam, I also am aware that he has constructed 1.5-kilometer roads along the entire.
I think people should look at it from where he came from. In 2011, when he ventured and won the ticket of House of Representatives Chanchaga, he's an honorable member that I empower over 30,000 women in Mina.
Wow.
30,000.
30,000 women through his skill acquisition programs, by helping them, by giving them what we call grants so that they can start up their lives. And you can see those are the things that translate to his victories over and over again. If you look at his areas of making sure that people are educated, look at schools, constructions, we have a Paso, we have a lot of primary schools that he has facilitated.
I was going to talk about Paso.
Where is there? He has facilitated to make sure that those schools are in good shape, where the people and the young people and the leaders of tomorrow will be educated. If you look at his history, you see that he has also helped in areas of, the way you said, infrastructural development, by providing a solar street light, by making sure Mina is beautiful. Umaru Bago is the first person that introduced solar street light in the nooks and crannies of the Mina metropolis.
Oh.
Now, those are the things that translate to his kind of love for the masses. And that's why masses look at him as if it's their own, and it's always their own.
And the love is genuine. Youth General, what's the impact so far of Honorable Mohammed Bago in Chanchaga to be specific?
Well, thank you for that question. It depends on how you take your perception of the impact. Because the impact of various categories. Taking it from what my elder colleague just said, looking at the street light perspective, actually I look at it at some point in time, many nooks and crannies of Chanchaga society, being a cosmopolitan society, at some point, hours around 8 p.m., 9 p.m., you can't go out there just to take a free walk. Before you know it, people will just come at any time and order into you, take anything that is within you, and if you are not even careful, that might be the end of your own life as well. But with the intervention of those solar lights, honestly speaking, I'm good at going out in most cases. It even helps the local vigilantes to have a long sight of what is happening. It gives people that courage that, let me just take a walk, at least whatever thing that will happen, many people are looking at me. Coming to the basic ground of the societal development, which is education, he has tried, honestly speaking. Of recently, I got to realize not just the parcel you are mentioning. He have intervened in places like Wankaje here, and places like Nisonkurang, Wari. There are a lot of schools he has developed via construction of a 6 classroom, block of 6 classrooms. Wow. Not just that, he has facilitated also with study materials. At some point, I think he has cut across even Chanchaga constituency, where I think he supported, is it 250 best secondary school students with a sum of, I think, is it 200,000 or 250,000 naira per student.
Wow.
Yes. Not just that, at some point he distributed almost, I think, 50,000 study materials across. Right. And there is a time he also intervened in IBB University with a sum of almost 17 million naira. So a man that's supposed to be a legislator, which we all know that he is a lawmaker, somebody who writes and passes policies, and even though the intervention of some funds, looking at the society, he has tried his best.
In fact, he has gone beyond boundaries
look at
to do a lot.
Yeah, look at the issue of the youth restiveness. At a point, my senior colleague drew our attention to somebody who started it at an early stage. He is accessible, and at some point, the haves and do not haves indigents of the society do have access to him. You don't have, you go to him, as far as he's available, he dish it out to you. And I see him to run this kind of politics of what the people want, not what I want for the people. And I think if he can do that at that level, now that he's about to become the number one of the state, I'm sure he can use that as a diplomatic measures of doing what the people want and what he equally wants. I think that's part of what the bank has to do.
I think I wanted to ask this question. What do you think? I think this question goes to both of you. What is it about Mohammed Bago that endears him to the youth, especially your own? What do you think? Once you hear the name Bago, the youth go wild.
Yes, if you look at Umaru Bago with the kind of his lifestyle, is someone that wants to see young people grow. Is someone that attracted himself to young people. Is someone that has attached himself to young people. Because what Umaru Bago always preaches us is our time to take leadership and take charge of the affairs of this country. We shouldn't send our people be crying every day that we have a bad leadership, we have a failure. But what have you done to participate, to take charge? And that's why is someone that is kind of courageous, and you want to see young people who are like him. And that's why if you look, if someone that is close to him very well doesn't tolerate failure. Umaru Bago is the kind of person that if he gives you an assignment and you fail, you don't repeat class with him, because he believes that you can do anything possible to make sure that you get results. And that is why you can look at his antecedent. The failure is not in him.
Clean track record.
Clean track record of not failing. He always goes straight to the targets. And that is why you can see he has achieved it. Young people need to understand that we can learn a lot from him. I myself, a personal experience of how I dealt with him is when he challenged the status quo, when he contested for the number 4th seat
The speakership
in the country. He was trying to be muzzled out systematically, but he told them that he's not there to represent the National Assembly, he's representing Nigerians. And he went there and he challenged it, and he went there, even though he didn't win, but he has shown that you young people can do it. And that's what gives us, like people like me, encourage that, okay, if Umaru Bago can go to this man, why can't he take over? And that's what we challenge.
You're basically describing yourself when you actually challenge the status quo, contested for the chairmanship of the APC.
Because if you look at him, if you get close to him very well, you understand who he is. He doesn't allow you to get frightened with things. He always encourage you to go.
You take charge.
You take charge. He want you to go harder.
And that's why for me, I call him the beacon of hope to the younger generation. He's also a bridge builder. We need that person that is going to change the perspective, change the narrative, and then that person that is also going to give us that courage that we need as young people. So there is this sensitization program that went on, especially talking about drugs, of which over 700 youths enjoined from that exercise. And that, of course, have also, in a better way, impacted on the youths, especially in terms of drugs, in terms of, thuggery and all.
Yeah, I think in that regard, before I come back to the subject matter, we need to understand something, that a drug addict is sick, is a sick person. And instead of the ideology of punishing them, they need to be rehabilitated. And also looking at it, there are factors that influence such, starting with the parental factor, the societal factor, and even the government factor that engages in the one way or the other influence of our younger generations going into drug addiction. But looking at the society, many elites today, the moment they come in contact with these drug addicts, they try to stay away from them. They try to push them away. They try to even ask their children to also disassociate from them. But now I look at it that this man decided to even bring these people close. No matter how these guys will misbehave or will be misbehaving in the society, I tell you, Bago has this unique, charismatic attitude that when he comes and addresses them, they all come to decorum. Now, I believe this man won't be doing that just like that. But looking at that, tomorrow, if this man becomes the #1 citizen, I am sure with the database of these less moral citizens of our societies, I believe you have a better package for them that will further not just sensitize them, but put them to become the better society, better elements of development in our society.
When we spoke about that drug program, I think I was involved directly in the program because I also do something about drug addicts. And I think I also presented something at that particular function, especially at day one. I think in just a few words, basically, I think what he's trying to say, or I'm adding to what you have said, is that Bago doesn't actually look at drug addicts as just mere drug addicts. And I made a point that day, I think I spoke something which wasn't very palatable to a lot of people there, because I said, I'm sure each of us that were there on the high table doesn't have a child that is a drug addict. Basically, it's because the society doesn't look at the other person as his own child, so you look at drug addicts as just people's children. And we seem to forget that when the fire catches your neighbor's house, and automatically one day it will jump to your house. And I think that's what he's trying to say. Bago has actually realized that on time, and he's actually cutting the need both by the need, or what do you say, on time before it becomes worse. But then, okay, we're all agitating Bago youths. We also have the older ones who are also participating in politics. And whether we like it or not, they have a grip on politics in Niger State. Do we think that Bago administration will have a lot of youth involved or holding a lot of positions of importance?
Which will further go into making life better for
I think people are misconstruing the kind of Hadianim to young people alone that is about young. Bago is a bridge builder. Bago is someone that relates both old and the young people together. But he categorizes everyone. He knows the priorities. He knows who are the people who have the agility to drive things quickly. And that's why he goes to the young, older people for guidance. But the young people are there to drive his policy and actions. And that's why you see, I will always see young people as drivers of the society. People that can be able to make things happen quickly. The older generations are people of experience caliber, people that can be able to give us the kind of mentorship that we require. But when you are old, the kind of energy that required from you to move the society forward quickly, it doesn't have it. But when you are old, the kind of energy that required from you to move the society forward quickly, it doesn't have it. But young generations can go to you for more experience and putting things together and actualize what they want to achieve.
Okay, let me also come in here. Bago has described the young generation, the youth to be specific, as the epitome of hard work. He has also described them as intelligent people and the people of brilliance. So what do you think he has in stock for the youth when he eventually becomes the governor of Niger State?
Thank you. I see him to be a man that will engage into education, as I said earlier, the skills acquisition, innovations, even the leadership inclusion. When you look at all these four things I've mentioned, they will help us boost the employability rates of the state. And when the employability rate of the state increased, definitely it will help us boost the revenue to be generated. And if that is being done, definitely it will also span to helping ease the development of that society. He's a man that I can say he's ready to engage the society into private-public partnership, because when you look at his deputy, that's his, I think that's the runner mate, I guess, the running mate. Also, that's another vibrant man in the cycle. And the combination of these two people, somebody who emerged from the private sector with somebody who emerges from the public sector, merging together, I think this is going to be a bombshell.
It's going to be a bombshell. That's true.
Yeah, something, I think one of the quotes here actually drags my attention. Yeah. And you said the future of youth is actually put there by you. So you said, according to President Olusegun Obasanjo, he said, and I quote, sometimes you will get people who will help you, and at times you may not even get who will help you. You must remember, God has given you the innate ability to be what He wants you to be. And if you make up your mind on what you want to be, God will help you, and He will provide those people who will help you to reach the sky, which will be your limit. Today is your day, and don't wait for tomorrow.
Now, we'll take this one back to the audience. We'll take this back to the audience now. We've all heard what have been said. Do you have anything at all to chip into what we've discussed so far?
My name is Isyaku Baba. I'm from Chanchaga local government, and I'm from Umaru. I have a little addition to what they said. Actually, yes, in terms of empowerment, we empowered women, and I'm one of the empowerment victims here. I beneficiary 50,000 naira in terms of skill acquisition, and at the same time, I have to add more to the boreholes he did in different areas, and they are still benefiting in it. And some of the schools he's still building on now. And those of the students that did NECO, unlike last year, they beneficial on it, and most of them, they make their papers. And I'm giving him a very good something that when he becomes a governor in Niger State, the youth, not even the youth, but the youth, the old, the young to come, they will beneficial and they will enjoy it. Thank you.
My name is Hadiza. We all knew that Bago is a philanthropist. But my question here is, we have a lot of youth, and most of the youth has engaged in malicious activities, such as cybercrime, stealing, and so on. So my question is, what benefit shall Bago bestow to see these issues has come to end?
My name is Isyaku, and so happy to be here. It's my first time, and seriously, I don't know what to say.
For being your first time, we need to
give a round of applause.
Because for the first time in life, I'm seeing something different in Niger State. And Honorable Mohammed Bago, for all I've heard, I see him the same as Suwaju Bola Ahmed. Because Honorable Mohammed Bago trying to empower youth, the same thing as Suwaju, putting people into position, making them people to be what? Living and what? Stand on their feet. Honorable Mohammed Bago is doing all to the Niger youths, even the women. So I believe if he should become the governor of Niger State, seriously, Niger State will be more than Lagos tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I think we need to appreciate the audience here for finding it worthy to come to this beautiful studio with the kind of innovative thinking that you said Bago has. That's why they also have this kind of thing, and the first of its kind in Niger State. And it's give you hope that Niger is going to come with the new ideas, and what we call a big idea state. Bago represent ideas. And that's why you see the studio itself is an idealistic and the first of its kind in the state. And the issue of how do you think it can be able to help the young people in the states in terms of job creation. If you look at the kind of time we have now, we need to build an army of employed young people. How can we do that? We have a lot of things that Bago has in mind in terms of agricultural development and type of IT development. He's always interested in seeing young people with IT knowledge on how they can be able to build an industrial IT hub of Nigeria in Niger State. And that's why he encouraged to even have this kind of studio here, and first of its kind in Niger State. And in terms of agriculture, we are going to have a young people that are going to feed non-central entirely. Because look at what is happening currently, the kind of unfortunate situation we're having in the state, where most of our eggs that we take are from Ibadan and Nasarawa State. But we always feels as if they should be able to have that replicate into the state. And we're going to do it with the kind of team is going to set up. Someone asked a question of how they trying to bring young people in the system. Young people are already in the system because if you can see the area of people that are with him, the people who have what it takes to drive the state, and that they are all virtually young people. And even the older ones are also part of it. But the young people are 70% in the system already. Because show me your friend, I will tell you who he is. And that's why you can see with the young people.
All right, quickly, thank you, the audience. You guys have contributed a lot. And starting with the question my brother asked, how will his leadership be beneficial to the less moral youth of the society, those who are into thuggery? Because the question I will ask you, do you know that it is not everybody that is a drug addict that is a thug? But you realize 99% of those who are thugs are what? Drug addicts. So this man, the day I heard him talking to someone very eminent in the society, he was saying if Konkoso can revive, can rehabilitate those who are of less moral in the society, because you can't compare the population of the less moral youth of Kano compared to that of Niger. And he said if Konkoso can bring an ideology that will transform them to be productive to the society, then what can stop Niger from doing it? So if a man can be thinking in that nature, that's to tell you that he has a lot of packages for Niger. And lastly, with the combination, as I said, of him and Comrade Isyaku Baba, I want to tell you that the young generation, it is their time, it is our own time to become the decision makers of the society. Thank you very much.
They said we are the leaders of tomorrow, but Bago said we are the leaders of today. It's right about time we take the leadership position and we'll do things the right way. So thank you very much for this, for all the contributions from the guests and also my co-host.
There is need to add that if you had witnessed the swearing in of chairman yesterday, I think you have noticed that at least our 70% of them are youths.
Yeah, right.
So definitely the youths are here to stay. We're taking over, and if you want to succeed as a youth, they say be like Bago. You have to be bold and be a go-getter, just like
a
Mohammed
message to the youth,
said. Yeah.
every one of us should please be good ambassadors of our society.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching the White Cap Crusade, a production of the Bago Media Centre. It's bye from me, Hadiza, Abdullahi, Kano, and the main host.
And from me, Ambassador Isyaku Baba. Do have a blessed night all. Thank you.